Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the edition of How Did This Get Booked? I, of course, am your host, Jake Manning, and I am a veteran of the professional wrestling business for over a decade, and I've held every single job except selling popcorn. I'm joined, as always, solely today by my co-host, Zane Riley. Zane, how you doing today?
This movie was awesome!
We're just going to start
right there. This was great!
We can jump right into it because we don't have a guest to introduce or anything like that. We don't have to have that weird awkwardness where you and me do a little bit of chit-chat, and then we introduce the guest and we get to it. We can just jump right into it.
Straight into it.
Just straight into this fucking movie.
Mainly because we've alienated all of our friends.
Yes. Even though this movie was only like an hour and 15 minutes long, I don't think we wanted to put anybody through this, I think.
I've told everyone I'd known about this movie.
Well, you told me about it. You suggested, like, no,
yes,
let's do this movie. Let's do this by ourselves.
And then when I suggested, I had never seen the movie. Okay. I just knew it was a thing.
I thought you were just repeating it. Like, no, we need to do this.
I learned with you.
Okay.
And I made a stellar choice.
Well, the choice, let's just jump right into it. The choice that you made was the movie WrestleManiac, which is also known as, aka also as El Mascarado Massacre. Also, working title for the movie was the Mexican Porn Massacre.
Even better! That would have been, I bet there's a remake where it actually is the porn they tried to make. And it's that.
Well, see, that's one of the things that I learned through listening to the director's commentary. See, I, as always, do way more research than what I need to for this free podcast, and finding out that actually this whole movie was supposed to take place in an insane asylum.
Oh.
You know, because the thought process is just get an insane asylum. You can film all hours of the day, and the idea is that they're not constraints with lighting and darkness, so they can just film for as many, because it's a low budget movie, they can just knock it out in 13 days. You're in the insane asylum with no windows, they don't have to worry about natural light and dealing with all that, and that's how the script was set up for it. But then they lost the location. Like last minute.
Physically? Like they just couldn't find it anymore? like, I swear to God, it was right here.
Well, not so much that they lost it, they weren't allowed to go back into it because basically LA County declared the area condemned, even though they spent all this time building up sets. Like they spent 3 or 4 days building these sets, and they were going to record the next day.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden LA County's like, nope, it's condemned. You guys are not allowed to go in there anymore. So they lost all that money and that time. So there's a few days to figure out what they were going to do. But I feel like putting it in an old Mexican town makes it far better.
Way cooler.
I think it makes it far better.
Way cooler.
Now, I know for them it's a little bit different because you have to deal with like sunlight and filming, and then like buildings that are like shanties that obviously you have to film at night because the sun's going to shine through. But I feel like that works a lot better.
I feel like that much thought was not put into any of this. I think you've over-explained how this movie was made.
Which, in the doctor's commentary, they make very clear. They're like, we were just making up shit on the fly. And I was just like, no shit.
Yeah,
no
you don't
shit.
say.
You don't say.
Which, I love that there's like, minus Rey Mysterio, there's no Mexican people in this movie. Yeah. Except for kind of Alfonse the porn star. He was arguable. He was the most white guy there.
Oh no, he was doing Mexican face, whatever the black face equivalent.
Brown face.
I don't know. I think we're treading some water that we don't want to.
We can't. We say more colors. They're gonna throw us off of whatever it is we're on these days.
SoundCloud, Stitcher. We just got on Stitcher. Let's not kick off Stitcher, okay? That might be the only place people are listening to us to.
I want to preface as to know how these broads met up with these dudes. I need 10 minutes more of before story.
You need the origin.
I need a prequel?
Yeah, like how are these girls so down?
Why was that bitch already passed out?
Oh yeah, I think that's a very dark question that we don't want the answer to. Like, because she was just passed out drunk and just in a van, and wasn't she Jimbo's sister, if I'm not mistaken?
Was she? Okay.
Because
makes a lot more sense.
Because Jimbo was like...
it was hardcore to look for her, like...
Yeah, well, he was just like, you're like, hey, I gotta get a van and you're gonna bring my sister along and we're filming a porn? Like, Jimbo seems like a very down brother. It's just like, here's my van and here's my sister. Man. You can fuck her. It don't make a difference.
So if you haven't seen the movie, which I'm sure none of you have, the movie opens, fades to color, with a guy, Alfonso, describing what a dirty Sanchez is to 2 amateur porn stars and a fat dude. The movie starts that way.
Yeah.
And scene that way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But also, do in the beginning, too, they show little clips of Mexican wrestlers.
Some of the best wrestling we've ever had on this show.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
So skip through that.
Yeah, for sure. I think I recognize Volanos, Los Brazos, and Paraguaya were some of the ones that I recognize in there. But yeah, we do that, and
awesome song to get it going.
Yeah.
So I watched mine more illegally. You sent me a YouTube link. I watched it on a Fire Stick and Kodi. And
that YouTube link was illegal as well.
Okay, good.
I actually went out of the way and purchased the movie from highspots.com.
No,
so,
we have that at Highspot.
We have that at Highspot. So
wow.
we do have a couple copies left over. So for those
please.
of you, so if you're like, hey, I have no idea what you guys are fucking talking about. I like Zane and Jake. I want to support what they're doing, but you guys have fucking lost.
They seem very adamant about something going on here.
Some sort of movie, Dirty Sanchez, Volanos, Los Brazos. That's all I know. So
there's boobs.
Yeah, there's boobs.
Yeah, it starts out phenomenal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing too.
I'm sorry, but the story of it was so like I downloaded it. I didn't even download it. Like streamed it through Kodi and like on Exodus. And when I searched for it by name, it pops up the Spanish translation name with the same box and picture and everything.
A masquerade.
Yeah. And I was like,
a masquerade.
I'm gonna have to either read this movie or I'm not gonna or it's just gonna be all in Spanish. And I've waited till like the 0 hour to do this.
Yeah. Well, also too, I think it's available on Stars.
Yeah.
Like this was actually playing. It was funny that you mentioned it, and I felt that you mentioned this because it was on Stars late night a couple days before you suggested this movie.
Why.
So because the company that. That's another lineage that I went through too, like Anchor Bay Entertainment. That's a Stars company as well. Okay. So like the distribution company is linked to the cable premium channel Stars. So if you have Stars, you can probably catch this late at night,
or you can get this on demand right now. Most likely.
Probably they would probably have this on demand. So there are legal ways to watch this.
Yeah,
we don't want
not like we do, but
well, exactly. But we're miscreants.
This is pirate radio version of a podcast.
But yeah, like that starts off with talking about a fucking Dirty Sanchez in graphic detail.
You put 2 or 3 fingers in a woman and then slide another finger in her ass.
Yeah.
Good on you. I don't know what kind of ladies he deals with. First off, 3 fingers, questionable. But then she's down to take 3 fingers and then 1 secret. Oh. Is it one of the girls in the back? Like, I figured they should know this already.
Yeah, they should be like, you pulled that trick last week.
Yeah, like, come on, Alfonso.
Yeah, but like that Dirty Sanchez joke, that's always been around forever. And those like very graphic, like the dolphin, the Heisman, those have been around forever. And then Amy Schumer ended one of her comedy specials with it, and people were like, that was Patrice's jokes. I'm like, I thought that was like Mike Ossemacher's joke in 7th grade.
We've been there. We've done that. I think we all know what the Dirty Sanchez is.
It was more of a street joke than it was Patrice O'Neal's joke than it was anything.
It wasn't the joke of a late great man.
Yeah, I remember hearing that joke in grade school. And I don't think Mike Ossemacher was listening to Patrice O'Neal.
I don't think so. They probably didn't know who that was.
Absolutely.
You don't strike me as from being from a town where there was black people to be known about. So there you go.
Other than Bill Cosby.
That's all you knew.
That was all we knew.
Ooh, you chose a winner.
Well, I was more of a Will Smith guy. It was one or the other.
He did pretty well for himself.
Yeah, he did all right. Kids, not so much. But let's talk about Alfonso here for a second, because I could not get over the choice that he made.
Of that rat-ass mustache?
Of everything. Of the whole...
The choices he's made in life?
Yes. The whole look he was going for. I feel like there's a guy who lives in South Carolina who looks just like that.
Or like South California, or like South Florida, or south of every state.
But South Carolina, for sure. There's a guy walking around unironically.
Yeah, just on purpose.
On purpose, like, this is the coolest I can possibly look.
Like dirty, unbuttoned white shirt, and almost the Triple H Lemmy facial haircut.
Yeah, with the cowboy hat.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
Living it right now.
For sure.
Talking about when we're going to rise again.
That's what he says on his bumper sticker.
Yeah,
that's what's on there. But, yeah, like Jimbo talking about he gave his sister in his van.
His sister's passed out drunk face down on the floor.
Yeah, I don't want to know how they got her in the van. Like, I think that's a very...
But then when she comes to, she's super game. She's like, oh yeah, meant this the whole time.
Also, something else I found in the director's commentary, which we'll get to the sex scene, but basically we're pretty close to that right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot from A to B.
But there is a couple of things. But yeah, in her contract, there was no call for nudity. But she just was like, fuck it. And
Toad's tit whip out.
And just whipped her tit out. And the director was like, okay, great.
Cool.
I got 2 titties now in this
That's
movie.
3 tit total in this movie, guys. Look at that.
Yeah, so...
We didn't have to pay for that titty.
And they described that actress as kind of a hippie. And I looked at her IMDb page.
Her IMDb? Is that what is that, Jake? Do you have another site? It's a porn IMDb?
Well, since like Boobapedia closed down, like, you had to pick something else up.
I gotta go to the next popular one.
It's true, but no, like she didn't work too much after that. So I don't know if she was being very method for this part, and that kind of hindered her career.
Maybe she felt this was her swan song, and she's like, I can't go up from here.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too.
Go out on top, yeah.
I did a lot of research on multiple actors of this movie. Like
you say it like there's more than 5.
Well, all of them. Okay, like I did it on all of them. But Alfonso is still a working actor today. He does a lot of parts. Does a lot of parts in like TNT 1-hour dramas like Vegas.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, so he does a lot of work like that.
He probably did it in an episode of SVU.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a guy that's done
totally a rapist.
CSI, SVU. Like he's done that whole loop of stuff, and he's actually got 3 projects that are going to be coming out later on this year, like
WrestleManiac 2.
I can only hope. But and then also too, Steve the fat guy.
Yeah, fat man.
Fat man. He's also been in an episode of It's Always Sunny.
Oh.
It was the one. It's a famous one. It's the one they were at the Jersey Shore.
Oh.
He was one of the people that Dee and Dennis got in the van with.
Oh, okay. Yes, you're correct.
Yes.
Living his life in vans. Mm-hmm. Way to go, fat man.
Oh, it just circles back around.
Sure does.
I can only imagine when he was filming It's Always Sunny, and he probably was talking to them about wrestling, like, hey, I was in this movie called WrestleManiac.
I like to think he makes inside jokes about WrestleManiac and no one gets it, and they're just like, shut the fuck up, Jimmy.
Well, it was Rey Mysterio Senior, not Junior. Yeah, he's one of those guys. See, I know that there's a difference between Senior and Junior.
I'm not talking about Hee-Ho. I'm talking about Padre.
But I also got a question when they were talking, before we get to the sex scene, before we get to the Mexican town, they were talking about how they'd been driving for 6 hours nonstop. How is that possible? Like, what type of gas mileage does this van get?
Well, whatever 6 hours is, plus 50 miles, because that's all they had left when they went to a really creepy gas station to take a piss.
Yeah, so they have another 60 miles on top of the 6 hours. This is going to go 7 hours without filling up?
This is a fuel economy motherfucking van right
here.
No
wonder why you wanted Jimbo's van. Yeah. I hope his sister has that much fuel economy.
She didn't have much TV time, so.
But how about this stranger they run to at the gas station?
No, that guy's in everything.
Yes,
he is a character actor.
Yes, he's been around for a while. He was
in Black and Whites.
Yeah, he's got a very good pedigree in the business for sure. Like he's
real fucked grill though.
He's the biggest star in this entire thing for sure.
Well, I mean, Rey Mysterio Sr., arguable.
He's the biggest guy.
Okay, buddy.
Also has some of the best lines. Has a line where he says, "Too much pussy is bad for your heart."
He wouldn't know.
That's something that my college long distance running coach would say to a female athletic director.
Use her as an example. Nobody date Miss Tess. Pussy's bad for the heart. That's why I can't run no more.
Coach Miller kept it real.
Coach Miller ain't no punk bitch.
That is for true. And then, of course, is the time where Steve tells the legend of El Mascarado. Although...
Well, let's take a step back. Why does he just have a Mexican wrestling mask hanging out in his pocket? Like, as soon as this guy pops out, he knows the mask. Not freaked out whatsoever by this guy jumping out of a dark, abandoned gas station.
Well, here's the thing. that could have been a great bit. And the better bit of that, of a good comedy, would have been they run out, he does this thing, they do nothing. Oh, get out of here. Get out. What are you doing, you goofball? He takes the mask off, and then he gets scared. He's more scared of his real face. Yep. Like, that's where the comedy is.
There it is.
Like, what's this guy doing? Like, what's your problem? And then he takes the mask off. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?
Put the mask back on.
Put the mask back on.
That'd totally be an Alfonso line.
That would be an It's Always Sunny bit.
Which would have brought us together, which would have bored us with, would have connected us with Sam there, or with Fat Man.
Exactly. But, they tell the story of El Mascarado, but they talk about, like, the Russians being really good at wrestling. Like
it was like pro wrestling was an Olympic sport.
Yeah, like, that made no sense.
Yeah, no.
Like, and the director, who is also the writer, director, editor of this movie, he said, I was a big fan of, like, the El Santo versus Frankenstein movies and all those things. But, like, obviously you're a fan of that and kind of aware of pro wrestling, but, like, do you not know...
Like the difference between regular and Olympic?
Just because Kurt Angle competed in the Olympics doesn't mean that Stone Cold Steve Austin did. Like...
Nobody's booking that portion of the Olympics.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see Brock Lesnar take on Alexander Karelin. Like that Battle of the Titans would be fantastic to me.
Roman Reigns and a really good collegiate wrestler just go at it.
Or Dan Baumgartner would be another one.
Kevin Owens wrestles someone in the Olympics. That would be in the mesh. The styles.
That guy that's Rulon Gardner or Gagne. that big.
They have a French off and then.
But yeah.
They explain it like pro wrestling is in the actual Olympics.
Yeah.
Fake wrestling in real Olympics.
But that's why they created this monster who's held up in this town and he's crazy.
He kidnapped all like the best wrestlers in town and like cut them apart and created a Frankenstein wrestler basically.
Yeah.
And then like he killed too many people, so they're like, oh, we fucked up. Let's put him in this ghost town.
It's not too bad of a premise, and we're doing a lot of exposition. But I mean, I'm
again. This was a great movie,
but all about it at this point. Okay, I get this premise, the idea of it. Okay, I'm digging it.
And we're right there. Like they go straight to the village.
Oh, but before they do, Alfonso's got to drive and do coke.
Yeah, good. Well, because he gave them all that coke before they went.
Yeah.
If that creepy man at the gas station was not for anything, it was for good coke.
Yeah, he didn't have gas there, but he definitely had coke.
Which, when he gave Alfonso all that coke, what did he plan to continue to do? Why was he really there? There's another movie in there where he's actually a murderer and killed the man that actually works at the gas station. And that just shoots off into a completely different movie.
Maybe that would help them fill out the 75 minutes they only put on screen.
Or if we're going to go like the Rob Zombie way... That guy in the gas station would actually be the man that feeds all of these tourists coming through to Rey Mysterio Sr. And he made sure they went there so that they would be murdered by him.
Well, maybe he's the one that put the rock in the road.
Maybe. Hills Have Eyes twist.
Which supposedly that bit, it was just something they kind of threw together. They had a little bit more elaborate thing, but because they'd lost time on like changing locations, they're just like, I'll just put a rock in the road, you hit it, there, boom, done.
What a big fucking rock to randomly be in the road.
Well, just was. You know how Mexico is.
Yeah, man, rocks grow everywhere. They grow on trees in Mexico.
Yeah. But anyways, they get to the town and they just start fucking.
Just like... So the only thing that was holding this homicidal maniac at bay was a chain that just went wall from wall. And then when they cut the chain, the door falls down. So, like, that door was really just insufficient to the whole equation. You can't pass chains.
Yeah.
And so then when they cut it, he just discards the bolt cutters. Like, well, these won't come in handy ever again. So were they to drive through the town and then just go through the other side? Or... Because it seems walled in the whole way. Like, there didn't ever seem to be an exit to the town.
Yeah, other than that one...
Yeah, the one end, and that's all.
Yeah.
See, again, a plan to get all these guys in there, dead end, mascara time.
And that's maybe why, like, you know, he could just push the wall back up.
Yep, be like, they'll never know.
They'll never know.
I'm going to hook this chain again.
Falling down, boom.
Yep, there's my sign. Get ready, guys. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, here we are. Fucking on bar tops. Waiting for the plumber.
waiting for a plumber where there is no indoor plumbing.
There's not. There's a bunch of liquor and some ladies just tonguing each other.
Just random Alfonse.
And Daisy just kind of swamping in there halfway through with a ball of tequila.
Just wow.
Oh, y'all bitches fucking.
I mean, let me just grab some butts.
I got this one titty I can pop out.
Just I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Like, it's just like the sex scene.
Yeah,
I guess.
Guys, we might as well go ahead and get in here. It doesn't fit anywhere else.
But I'll tell
We've got an hour and 15 minutes for this movie, guys. Let's get some fucking going.
But, Debbie puts it out there.
Hey, she's doing well.
Looks great.
Both of them. And the other two girl.
Yeah, Layla, who you might recognize from the Diva Search.
Oh.
In 2005. She was actually, I believe, runner-up.
Oh, wow.
So she...
Did not know that one.
I've got probably some more information I could put out into the world here in a little bit.
Okay.
I've got some interesting stories.
She becomes a key player soon.
Oh, yeah. When she becomes a key player, I'll dump all this information. Because I've got it all in my notes here. But anyways, the sex scene makes Daisy sick to her stomach.
Yes, all of whatever it is she's been drinking.
Yes.
All of the roofies have finally caught up to her to get her sick.
Just running through a random Mexican town barefoot. And then
for no reason. Like, what is her destination plan?
None. Just...
And she's run farther than the walls of this town has allowed.
She found the way out.
She found it. Then she's like, oh, I'll just cut this chain with my hands. And that door fell down, and then she just kind of ran out of nowhere. Into a junkyard.
She gets murdered. Apparently.
Steps on glass like a dum-dum. Mm-hmm. She kept going. Like, why did you never backtrack? Why'd she go that far to throw up in the first place? If you got to puke, whole better dynamic if she would have just puked on those people and killed the whole mood.
Yeah. And that would have been a whole different subcategory of porn, too.
Exactly. That was the first thing I thought about. I was like, you just missed a fetish that people were digging. Mm-hmm. You ruined it, guys. You ruined it.
You had a golden opportunity.
Here it was. Everything you've done right in this movie, this is your wrong.
This is wrong. But...
puke porn.
We do get a classic line from Alfonso shortly after that. Who gives a shit about Taxi Driver today? But Deep Throat, that's a classic.
Yep. He wanted to be Scorsese.
Yep. But I like that they bring up Taxi Driver because they do something with the beginning and the end where it kind of loops back around, which is something that is done in Taxi Driver.
Start with the end and then come around.
Yes, so I feel like that was a purpose behind that as well. So,
again, I think you're giving them too much credit.
Did
they say how long this movie actually took to do in their director commentary?
How long it took to film?
Yeah, like how long did they do this movie?
Like 13 days.
Really?
They had, let me see if I got some of the information.
You said 13 days. I didn't know if that was just a number.
I think 13 days. It was definitely less than 15.
Okay.
I believe is what there was. It definitely wasn't it wasn't 60 days.
I probably like they could have done that in 6 days.
Well, you get reverse angles and night shots, and then like some of these buildings you're filming just at night.
Okay.
And, it's different things. But the estimated budget for this movie was
$150.
$850,000.
Jesus, where?
Just shy of $1 million.
Did they have to buy that town? Like we bought this town so we could film here.
No, they rented it. It was just a big farm that they rented, and they had it for a few days and just knocked it all out. There was a couple scenes that they did on a sound stage, and I'll bring those up as we get to those.
Okay.
But, yeah.
So now we've got a dead Daisy. We've got porn stars hanging out in an empty bar. Mm-hmm. The fucking has ended.
Yes. So this is where my notes.
Jimmy goes to look for Daisy. Jimbo.
Yes. And then he gets slaughtered as well.
He gets caught up by the throat.
Not much, I guess.
No.
I guess that they had alternate Jimbos, and one guy canceled him last minute to do a pilot for a sitcom.
What sitcom?
I don't know.
No,
they didn't say in the director's commentary.
Friends. It was Friends.
That's the thing. I would love to find out if that was, and it turned out to be successful.
Yeah, good. Way to go, Jimmy.
Yeah, but
it's called the Big Bang.
But that's why this Jimmy doesn't fit very well in the clothes. They didn't have enough money to buy new clothes.
Okay, that's why everything was so baggy on him.
Yes,
okay.
That's why it's so baggy. But,
they couldn't let the guy that played him just wear his normal clothes. Like, hey, could you just bring a pair of cargo shorts and a shirt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
I've got that same outfit in my closet.
Exactly, you're wearing it right now.
Yeah, proven point. But
call you Jakey. Here you go. Go find your sister Daisy in the junkyard. This Mexican man's gonna murder you.
All right. Is this where they start like fixing the van up?
This is when they so Jimmy disappears for a minute, and then they go to the van. Like, was their plan? Like, it seems like everyone's plan is just to leave the remainder of the people that aren't in the group anymore.
Yeah,
because they're hanging out because it gets dark, so they're gonna like sleep in the van, or like try to get it going, and that's definitely not happening. So then they decide to go look for Jimmy.
Yeah,
and then. But they leave Deborah in the car, but then she pops out of a random building a couple minutes later.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of thought there.
No.
It was just kind of all over the place.
And Alfonso and is the fat guy Sammy? What's the fat guy's name?
Steve.
Steve, Sammy, whatever.
Steve, Sammy. Yeah.
Alfonso and Steve go to look for Jimmy, and then Deborah just pops out of a door. So behind this wall, and it's Deborah.
Yeah.
Dumb Deborah.
And then they leave Dallas behind.
Whose dad owned a machine shop, so that's why she stayed back to work on the car.
Yeah, which I don't know what there is to fix when you hit a rock.
It looked like the radiator hose came off.
Okay, well,
because she was fucking with some like random hose.
Okay, well,
but then I would assume with radiators you have to fill that back up with water, and there wasn't really a water source, but shit just starts working.
Well, that's why they had to bring the plumber in.
Yeah, there's a plumber to fix water. There we go. There you go. And now here's why Alfonso's here, whose dad was really a plumber. Maybe he's a Rhodes.
See, there we go. Maybe that's like this might be a good time to bring up Layla's background. You know, since she's fixing the van and we don't see her again to basically.
I completely forgot she was even there for a minute.
I think her and Rey Mysterio Sr. would be the most recognizable by wrestling fans.
Yes.
So it's like, hey, let's see her in a bra and like.
Yeah.
And an ass shot or two.
Out.
Yeah, exactly. Because it is that era.
It is.
Where let's just like, completely, utterly objectify women because a few more years, it won't be cool anymore.
That's right. But on the plus side, here in a moment, they start to make her the hero. So, I mean, give and take.
Yeah, she's definitely...
Look, you can be an empowered woman, but we're going to need to see some ass shots, please.
Well, that's another thing, too, is they said they got a lot of ass shots. In the director's comedy, they said, like, yep, there's another ass shot. Like, they were talking about, like, Russ Meyer films, where it's just completely, like, women's bodies just all up in the cameras. Like, super zoom in to butt shots, super zoom into tits.
Yeah.
Just, that was his style, and that's what they tried to copy. As well. So Scorsese and Russ Meyer are basically the inspirations.
And every porn star, the director.
And El Santo versus Frankenstein. Those are the influences of this movie.
Which, if we're going to talk about film, wrestling and film, or porn film directors, we had our guy from XPW.
Yeah, Rob Black.
And Gangrel.
Yeah, how about that? How about there's a connection there?
There it is. We're keeping it alive, guys.
Forget about the connection of pro wrestlers and comedians. It's wrestlers and porn directors.
And porn.
So, but Layla Melania, which Melania is her stage name. She's
ventriloquist.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Persian, same thing, right?
Hey, I'll take that.
Yeah, Persian, same thing. But she was in the 2005 Diva Search. She also appeared on PWG After School Special.
Oh.
She was also the co-host of WrestleLicious for a month, and then a scheduling conflict came up. I'm feeling she had a better gig.
Fake pregnancy.
No. I think it had something to do probably with the fact that she ended up on Deal or No Deal.
Oh, good.
She was known as Lucky Layla, and she actually went to the same high school in the same town as Howie Mandel.
Oh.
Separate times, but...
But Howie probably had the 411 on her.
Probably.
Or at least that's what... Oh, I went there too. You can totally be one of these Deal girls.
And she was kind of one of the featured Deal girls. She was Lucky Layla or Lucky 13, so she had a name. So she had a name and a thing. She now has a hair company where she like hair extensions.
Yeah.
I guess she now has an empire, and she's married to an Iranian entrepreneur who has been featured on Shaws of Sunset.
Wow.
And let me tell you about her husband. I did a little bit of research on him.
What do you do? Like any other time that we don't have to figure out what these movies and wrestling shows are about.
I do this research. I went down a rabbit hole because anytime I find a name, I research that name and see what pops up. And I looked up her husband's name. It's a very distinct name. And come to find out, her husband actually got into a drunk driving incident and killed, I believe, his friend.
Oh,
back in 1995.
Very Nick Hogan.
Yeah, it was very much simpler of that time, and I don't know how much punishment he got dished out. But there's a very dark history to her husband.
We end this rabbit hole in darkness.
Yes. So, I just find that very interesting. There is that darkness to it. I feel like he bought his way out of that. I don't think he served any prison time.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, when I say entrepreneur, mogul maybe more so.
Yeah.
I looked at some of the Instagram pictures that Layla put out of her house and her family, and
there's a tiger just hanging out.
Yeah, like it's very Scarface-esque. Like he's doing a very good job. Like he probably has people marching into the bank with "Push It to the Limit" playing in the background. He's probably opened a beauty shop up for his sister Gina. Like
for her.
Yeah.
For Layla. That's how she has that hair product.
Exactly. So they're doing well.
They're doing okay.
They hit a bump in the road, but they are doing quite well.
Hit a large rock in the road, maybe?
Well, it was more of an embankment.
Yeah.
Moving right along.
Okay.
Layla works in the van with a MP3 player.
The sweetest of MP3 players that I've never seen before.
Yes.
It looks like one of those little Mios squirt water bottle sized MP3 player.
It is of that time that
it was like a cheap Zune.
It was very between the dying of CDs and the uprising of MP3s. It was a weird time of physical media.
She's just shaking her butt, fixing whatever it is wrong with vans. I don't know.
Well, there's a massacre going on.
While shit's just going awry.
Which I gotta say, when we get to the part where it shows up and Alfonso is running through the church.
Yeah.
And I really dig Alfonso's death. Like that whole sequence.
Okay. So we're kind of close there. They find Jimbo.
His face is ripped off.
His face has been ripped off. No one knows as to why yet. Alfonso doesn't believe that anything's going. Alfonso doesn't want to believe that there's someone else there. And then he runs into him. And then Alfonso's like, fuck you guys. Deuces. And leaves Steve and the girl. And then runs into the church and locks them out. And they can't get in. But they keep making the big deal when they hit the door. This nail drives further in. And it was cool that it got him in the
great gag.
I thought it would be real cool because he starts looking through the crack. If it happened and it got him in the eye.
Okay.
And now we have eye because he's gonna start to suffocate with that hole in his throat.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to die. I think if he had the eye, he still has some wits about him. He can rock and jump. He can shuck and jive for a minute.
But the eye, that's more makeup. That costs more time.
Right, yeah.
Where the hole right there, you just put the blood. And then more shot, just more blood, and just keep. But I don't know if they really did that. It's kind of like it was like a flesh wound.
But that banging his face off that little corner of the windowsill was awesome.
And then the ripping of his face.
Yeah.
Like I even put down basically 40 minutes to 42 minutes of the movie. Best part of the whole movie.
Just face ripping.
For sure. I dig all of that.
It does kind of take a turn for the slowness after Alfonso goes.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, okay. Alfonso.
Yeah. But we still have Steve and Debbie.
We do. I thought, man, I was really... first off, in the perfect world, if there was a happily ever after this, Steve and Debbie would make it out and then just start fucking. On their own time. You don't have to see it on video. But Steve, or maybe Layla, who's fixing the car, Steve and Layla would get it on.
Just do some sort of crew joke that's like, hey, let's go make that van rock.
Yeah. It's just,
and hopefully nobody comes a knocking.
Yeah. And Layla makes that joke so it doesn't make Steve look a creeper.
Yeah.
And
well, no, I don't think they're above making Steve look like a creeper in this movie.
But you want the fat guy to have a gentleman's end. He's not the grosser.
And he is kind of a gentleman. He tries to protect Debbie as much as he possibly can. Absolutely. They find the tapes and they learn about that he abides by the rules of professional wrestling.
If you remove his mask, he is done. Thus the reason he is ripping everyone's face off.
So that way they are done.
And humiliated. Even in death, you are humiliated.
Exactly. But does that mean that he doesn't pull any hair? There's no eye gouging?
Right? He takes it all. If they grabbed a rope, would there be a count?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's what I was thinking too. Is you had the little homemade ring.
We do
rope,
find...
and somebody goes 1, 2. Does he break?
Oh.
And then go back into it again? Like,
well, I believe he's kind of a heel here, so he would at least get to the 5.
Yeah, he'd get to the 4.
He would get pushed off for a moment.
He would say, ref, I got to a 5.
Yeah.
So, like...
So, yeah, they run and find his lair of faces. Mm-hmm. With faces just tacked to walls.
Just ripped off, slapped
on the wall. Blood glue. This lives on the wall now.
Which, is very Ed Gein, right?
Yeah.
Gein, however you pronounce it and stuff like that. Like, I just listened to a podcast about the movie Psycho, and it went into depth about Ed Gein and all that. And, like, just thinking about how that's inspired every horror movie ever. Just one guy.
Yeah.
Like, how insane, like, this one person is that you can basically inspire an entire genre and different... You can pull different things from his story. Like I said, you could even say that this even is inspired by that story as well.
Right here, faces on walls.
Which even in a sense is kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is probably the closest to what Ed Gein was.
Mexican Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly.
Mexican Wrestler Massacre.
But we build up to this big like wrestling fight scene the first time, and then it...
You don't fucking see it!
You don't see it until he's like wounded later. Like,
until like everyone has fucking failed.
Yeah, like there's this big fight scene. Debbie's crawling out. Yeah. He drags her back in.
We kind of skipped the callback here. So they finally they get in the room, and while they listen to tapes, he can't figure out what this one word means. Mm-hmm. And his knowledge of Spanish, and they get in the room, and he's looking around, he sees all the faces, and he sees all these, oil barrels, and then realizes there's ropes on them. Mm-hmm. And then he puts together that it's a fucking wrestling ring, and that he will abide by those rules. So his big master plan is to put back on the La Tigre mask and fight in the tiger mask. And this is how he's going to save the day.
Yeah, and we build up to it, we get to see it, and then we don't.
We don't. It jumps down the hallway, and all you see is the door as everyone is screaming.
Yeah. We can see this really great thing, and then he grabs Debbie, gives her a backbreaker, which, by the way, in some states, intergender competition is banned and illegal.
But I believe, so then it would go into the fact of, they have exoticos in Mexico. And exoticos can wrestle
intergender must be okay in Lucha Libre. So
it's got to be.
It's got to be, or else he wouldn't do it.
Exactly, because he can't go against the rules. Though, if we're going to take it that way, he chokes Jimbo against a wall. The choke is illegal.
Yes.
So, maybe it's only in the ring that he has to obey the rules.
Well, remember, we're talking about the same type of wrestling they have in the Olympics. So Olympic wrestling, it's okay to choke.
Yeah, wherever.
Wherever.
And regardless of location, choke that sumbitch.
Yes, and...
Gold medals galore.
And rip Debbie's face off.
Take that bitch's face meat.
And then Steve come back up one more time?
Yeah, he makes the big baby comeback, and then he gets his arm broken immediately.
Yes. And then takes a big splash.
Yep.
Which
he starts to really work him. He works that arm for a minute. He's giving him the work kicks. He gives him a good punch. Mm-hmm.
And apparently in the director's commentary, he said he was really working over really, really well. And taking that splash was not very fun.
Oh, I bet.
All they did is they put a couple boxes underneath of Steve. But they were basically doing it on the cement floor.
Oh, man.
So how about a gamer for Rey Mysterio Sr.? I guess he was only there for a couple days, did his shit, and then fucking got the fuck out.
He got his shit in and left.
And also, too,
I wonder if that's why you don't ever see him much in the beginning.
Yeah, well, that's why.
You only see you see an arm.
You want to give some suspense.
Yeah, but also because they're we don't have him for these days. Let's just not waste our time with that. Also,
yeah, and they just get in there, and he really kind of really roughed him up and made it look good. But also too, okay, let's say this: why Rey Mysterio Sr.? He's 5'9",
right?
That's my... If you're going to build...
What was Rey Mysterio Jr. doing at that time in WWE? See, I think that would have something to do with it.
I'm thinking, what's Cibernetico doing at this time? What's Ricky Banderas doing at this time?
What is Judas Macias doing?
Even Latin Lover. Come on. Can't you get fucking Latin Lover to do this?
They wanted real money.
Come on. Like
Rey Mysterio Sr. got around with Debbie, and then he was like, "Okay, I'll do that."
Yeah, so I don't know why we picked Rey Mysterio Sr. when we could have. I mean, fuck, even Blue Demon Jr.
Well, even like the picture they put on like the box. I believe you have it over here. Let me look. Oh, let's see the box. Okay, I guess not, because I thought it almost had like the Rey Mysterio mask look on the box, but it doesn't. It has the.
But there's a point where he's walking by a fence and the fence post is taller than him.
But then where he's like walking by a bus and he towers over the window of the bus.
Yeah.
But he walks real weird by it. So I can only assume they built like a scaffold section there and he's like real nervous about walking it.
Yeah, because it gets to the point where Dallas is now running away now because everybody else is dead. And we have 2 hiding sequences. Like, okay.
Of the same area.
Yeah, like, run the opposite direction. Like,
yeah.
He walked past you, you got out, and what do? You hide in the same exact place, but in a different spot.
Just a foot higher.
He's that way, you go the other way, you get back to the van, and that's when we get the key to the hand why she can't run away.
Yeah.
So...
I thought it'd be real cool is if, like, in the further chase scenes, you hear the jingling of keys because it's still in his hand.
Yes. So it would be great. That'd be another great gag, too.
Awesome.
He's coming.
I know he is now.
Yeah.
Very, very Jaws-ish.
Especially when she is hiding under that table, like, full spread eagle, like,
what the fuck?
For no fucking reason.
Like, ready to take all dicks.
Like, looks like she should have stirrups hooking her up for that. Like,
they're going to give her a little exam while she's under here.
The only time I've ever seen a woman in that position is usually when somebody's spitting in her butthole. Like, that's the only time a woman ever gets in that position.
That's the spit in the butthole position.
Yeah.
I'm going to start calling that as a spot. Then I need you to get in like this position while you spit the butthole. You get that with your ankle, your hands on your ankles, but underscored side.
Yeah. But Steve still alive.
Yes,
still kicking.
Still enough in him to say, "Take off the mask."
Yeah, take off the mask. Hasta la vista, you fuck. Was, I believe, the catchphrase we were going for.
So Steve's running around looking for shit to help him when he comes to the conclusion that the ring is where it's at. How does this bitch find a board full of nails and Steve couldn't fucking find it?
That would have been the first thing.
Exactly.
See, Steve was abiding by the rules of professional wrestling.
But this bitch went straight EC dub on him and cracked him between the shoulder blades with an abyss stick.
This is true. And hit him and then ran him through with a pipe.
Yeah.
And seems like it's all well and good. She's all covered in blood, which she looks better covered in blood than
not covered in blood.
Exactly. Like... And also, too, in the director's commentary, I guess, like, Layla was very stressed out at this time. It was late shooting. It was a long day. It was towards the end of the whole shooting process. It was cold, also, too. And, like, she just saw a rat around the corner, and she was, like, about ready to cry. And the director's just like, we don't have time for your emotions right now. He just held her hand and was like, use it. And then rolling, like, just left her in the shell. That's why she's like, those were real tears. She was crying. She was upset.
Good.
I told her to use all of that frustration.
I feel now I want to take this back and watch it again with the director's cut.
Oh yeah,
the director's commentary.
I'll give it. It's quite interesting.
I want to know.
Yeah.
But, let's see. So yeah, it hits the bitch with the stick, or hits him in the stabs, and then tries to take off the mask, but doesn't succeed.
Yeah, I think she didn't. Like, but the thing is, we got to have a sequel, so we can't take the mask off.
Yeah.
So, but she should have.
And then we come back to where we began,
where she's screaming and running out of the church, and turns out she had been run through by a pipe.
With the pipe that was assumably inside of WrestleManiac.
Yeah.
And she does not make it.
No.
Rest in peace.
Dallas. But yeah, and then we end with a shot of Rey Mysterio Sr. driving off.
How does he know how to drive? He was put together by bits of other people. 40-something years ago. And he knows how to drive quite well. I don't buy it. And again, did he go back and backtrack to find those keys, or were those keys in his hand the whole time? Or was he like, pull the key out and was like, these will come in handy later. Into the pocket.
Right away.
Another thing that I think would have been a fun callback is if he would have driven to that gas station from earlier.
Yeah.
And there could have been a moment there. He could have killed that guy, or that guy could have just gave him a laugh and nod as he drove by and dust.
He should have ran. The stranger should have ran out with the mask on.
Yeah.
And and then saw the guy or whatever. And then do the gig where the stranger takes off his mask and then Rey Mysterio goes, ah!
he stops. Okay, so the scene is Rey Mysterio stops at this not gas station.
Yeah.
Guy comes up to the stick again. He just takes it off, and then he takes off the deal, he has the mask off. Has the mask on still, and has this befuddled look, like, oh shit. Takes the mask up, still with the old shit look. And then Rey Mysterio squeals off because now he's scared.
Yeah, now he's scared of the stranger's face.
But the stranger is still befuddled. Oh my God, was that the murderer?
Mm-hmm.
But then it would have been like 10 or 15 odd miles later, Rey Mysterio runs out of gas.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, because he doesn't have that much.
Yeah, because he only had 50 miles, and then they went to this little town.
Yeah, the gas mileage on this thing is very...
Hopes and dreams fuel this. Blood fuels this car.
Yeah,
Faces.
I like how they're so adamant that this has to be we're filming a porn, but nobody has the slightest idea when we're that we're filming this porn. Oh, it's a Mexican town. No, it's a plumber walking in.
Yeah. Or is it just a desperado?
Yeah.
None of you are even Mexican.
Yeah.
One Mexican man in this entire movie.
But I like the fact that they got the Mexican town because it makes more fucking sense. I feel like.
Yeah.
Them doing this in a sane asylum. Yeah.
And I guess maybe that's why they made the one comment of they gave him 50 lobotomies and it never helped.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the one tie-in to the insane asylum.
Well, that was the thing too. Because they had everything set up that they were gonna start filming, and they were gonna do it in the insane asylum, and then they lost the location, and then they lost days to do it. Then they got this town. They started filming right away. They basically said in the director's commentary, there was no script. So it's all the stuff that we referenced of the insane asylum. If we realized there was something to say, we had to take it out, and then we had to just say something.
So then, is it WrestleManiac and a wrestling villain because it was then a Mexican town, or was he going to be a mask-wearing wrestling murderer in an insane asylum?
I don't know.
I feel that it would have to have changed with the situation.
I feel like it was always supposed to be a luchador.
Okay.
I feel like it was always supposed to be.
Well, then it definitely makes more sense to do it in Mexico in a town, because why the fuck is this Mexican luchador in here?
In an insane asylum.
And then why hasn't someone taken his mask off?
Yeah.
Or put him in a straitjacket.
Well, I feel like this worked out great.
This is way better.
But then they talked about how they had a trouble filling the time.
Yeah.
Because they had to change everything. And that's why the drive sequence in the beginning goes on for a long period of time. That's why you see him drive off for a long period of time, because it's only 75 minutes.
Yeah.
And
which any movie that can't break an hour and a half is gold.
Yes, and that's what they said.
The Zane and Caleb movie lasted 105. We almost made WrestleManiac. Almost made it.
Almost. But as I said, the distributors wouldn't pick it up if it was anything less.
Yeah.
If it was anything less than 70 minutes. So that's why he had to push it to 75.
Guys, get back in that car.
But of course he was oh yeah, well, when we were doing the insane asylum, I definitely had 75 minutes.
Of course.
So you're only shooting for 75 minutes?
Yeah, bro, I had 78, and it was going to be awesome.
Yeah, you should have been shooting for 80?
Yeah, an hour and a half, like a movie is.
Oh, yeah. So when I saw it, I was 1 hour and 15.
Yeah, I was this is fucking incredible.
Yeah. But, it was shot in 13 days. I have it right here. They had no script.
Clearly.
I feel like it was just made up as it went along.
Guys, here's what we want you to do. Could you? Okay, you guys got it.
Yeah.
Good guy. Good boys. Good job, okay?
Yeah. So... But would you recommend this thing?
To everyone. Go buy it at High Spots.
Yeah.
Right now.
We've got a limited amount of copies. I don't think it's too bad.
My roommate, when I was 23, so it would be 10 years ago, my roommate had this movie. And I never watched it. I just saw it and was that's probably dumb. No, it's awesome. Well, thanks, Ty, for buying that.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that I know that have had that movie in their DVD collection. And I've just been really? This?
I just read the sub line to the movie. and it's Let the Face Off Begin.
I didn't get that.
Now it totally makes sense.
Now it totally and 100% makes sense. So, a couple of things that are mentioned in the IMDb, not IMDP page.
Hold on. There's some more. So then it has on the back of the cover. On the back of the cover is critics' statements about the movie.
Oh, please read those.
Fangoria, kick-ass. Film threat, fantastic. Gore zone, WrestleManiac hangs recent Hollywood slasher films out to dry. What the fuck was going on in 2006 for Hollywood slasher films? You mean to tell me this is considered Hollywood?
You mean to tell me that Saw was worse than this?
Depends on which one. Saw 1, maybe. Saw 2, fuck no. Saw 2 is amazing. Yeah. 2 and 5.
But it's really weird in the end credits, like, Steve was, like, rapping during the end credits for some reason.
They come back.
Yeah, like, you see this
very
very
John
serious...
Cena.
Yeah, this very serious fucking horror movie, and you ended up on a very somber note, and then you just have one of the guys that got killed, like, just rapping.
Hey, Steve, can you rap by chance? Like a fucking Lothario. Get in there, kid. Give me some bars. Spit that fire.
Also, too, one of the buildings, on the side of the buildings, appears the word Voorhees.
Yeah.
Which may or may not have been a nod to...
I was about to say, was that coincidental, or...?
Nobody seems to know. It said it was a possible intention, but it's not really... It wasn't mentioned in the director's commentary.
Okay.
Like, oh, we definitely did that. But it was just something that was there.
Murderers and masks.
But most of the reviews rated pretty well. A lot of people seem to like it. Like, people give it 6 out of 10, which isn't bad. I didn't see very many 7s out of 10 or 8s out of 10s, but a lot of 6s, a lot of 4s out of 10s.
Hey, brother, 6s make beautiful wives.
Yeah. They're the most loyal.
That's right. Bitch ain't leaving.
But any other things we need to go over?
No,
with
man,
this thing?
fantastic movie. Everybody go watch it. Let us know what you think about the two-man... We have this idea where maybe on movies and stuff, because we're running out of comedians and we don't want to backtrack just yet too much.
Yeah.
Where we do movies and occurrences like this together, just me and Jake. So if you like that, let us know. If you don't and you think we should have someone else in here so we don't talk the whole time, let us know that too.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you and me, we have a rapport. We go back and forth. And, the idea of watching a wrestling show is... We want to get somebody in here that doesn't watch professional wrestling. Yeah. But everybody's seen a movie before.
Everybody watches movies, and you'll see the same tropes everywhere.
Yeah, so
it's just kind of wasting somebody's time.
Well, really, the idea of us as professional wrestlers, we want to discuss, like, the mere mention of them thinking that,
Pro wrestling's in the Olympics.
Yeah, the same pro wrestling's in the Olympics. Like that. I think that's where we want to see it. Like
wrestlers talking about the real world.
Exactly. And how does this translate? Is this real? Why didn't they get why didn't they get Cibernetico?
Yeah, what was he doing?
Do this? Like he's
AAA Contact doing.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's far larger. Like Conan would have been great.
Oh man, Conan for sure. Vampiro.
Oh, Vampiro would have been great in this one. Vampiro would have been fantastic.
Okay, so I also was thinking, like, if they redid this movie now.
Okay.
Penta.
Oh, Penta.
For sure.
And, I think just putting Penta in this makes the movie far better.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely a far bigger success if you put Penta in.
Oh, of course.
Especially if you do, like, a WrestleManiac 2.
Oh, yeah. With Penta, maybe Hurley from Lost, the fat guy from Lost.
And you had John Morrison, who's doing the Boone the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, maybe he can be Fonzo.
Maybe he can be writer, director, editor, and lead star in the whole role.
Oh, fuck. Who looks real goobery that they could be like the stranger? What's Grado doing? Is Grado could be the random Scottish stranger at a gas station in Mexico?
Yeah, have Spud do it.
Yeah.
Rockstar Spud
can do any of it.
Yeah, Rockstar.
Spud could be Layla as far as I'm concerned. He's pretty. She's pretty. It works.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, we can redo that. Jake, I think we have a task ahead of us.
I think so. I think we could just remake this.
Let's just remake WrestleMania.
With Penta,
I'm sure it's not too hard to get a hold of the guy that directed this. I don't think he's doing a lot right now.
Yeah, just redo it again. Put Pentagon in there.
Is Erwin Keys the stranger?
Yes.
Okay, because he's Erwin Keys and Sexy Layla Milani. co-star. And he's only in it for like 20 seconds, and they credit him with House of a Thousand Corpses. The box alone is worth the purchase, guys.
Yeah. Obviously, we saw it on multiple people's DVD collection.
Holy shit! He's got a face in his hand.
Yes, it does. He most certainly does.
Guys, get on it.
For sure.
They'll be on sale at PWX this weekend at the High Spots merch table.
A few that we have left. But, anyways, the next show we'll be discussing will be PWS Legend Show.
Ooh.
That we'll have. So please watch that. I never want to give out the comedian in case we have to come up with a last minute.
Because chances are they won't make it.
Substitution, but it's actually it'll be up on the High Spots Wrestling Network right now. And of course, if you want to get a free code to watch for a free month, all you got to do is just type in HDTGB as the promo code, and you get a free month of highspots.com, High Spots Wrestling Network. That is. Free month, and of course there's plenty of other shows we have up there right now that you can watch, and we've done podcasts on them before, like the Carolina Championship Wrestling Tribute Show, Model Goes to the Farmers Market, the UWC show that never ended, and the other UWC show that was kind of short, that was very confusing, but yeah, there's a multitude of other stuff as well as everything else that's up there as well. But this is going to come out this Thursday, Zane. You got anything you want people to know where you're going to be at?
I don't have anything this weekend.
Don't?
Actually, nah, we'll leave that a secret. You guys will see it in the future.
Oh, okay. You got some undercover stuff going on?
I got hands in baskets, man. I got hands in baskets.
Hands in baskets. Not hands in pies, because that's insanitary.
Come on now.
All right. Well, as always, if we've made a mistake, or if you're like, hey, we hate just you guys, can you bring somebody else in there that's far more funny and talented to at least talk about these movies? Or if you like what we're doing, like, hey, yeah, we like it when you guys talk about the movies or whatever, just feel free to hit me up on Twitter at ManScoutManning, or you can email me at jake@sslshow.com. Also, too, make sure you check out the website, howdidthisgetbooked.com. That's where we have our t-shirts available, as well as my own personal merch available. Also, too, make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, all those things. And please leave a review. We still only have one review on iTunes right now from Never Will Be. I appreciate you so much. This is the second week in a row I've mentioned you. That's how much I appreciate you. I'll give you 2 shout-outs in a row. So, guys, please
tell your friends to tell us about us.
Yes, please do a review. It really helps us out, and we would really, really appreciate it. But anyways, folks, this has been another edition of How Did This Get Booked?